Ladies and gentlemen, they said it would never happen, but we are back for a second season. We planned in talks to make this show even better for you, and it is going to be even better for all of our millions of fans. So thank you for coming back. It's a new season. We've got more and more stuff just to have a laugh about. Of course, the mullet's still there, growing out a bit, but this is the Mullet Show on FTV Sports.
England!
Never give up on us. Now we're on the road to Europe. Right now, all our dreams can be made, and we'll be kings of football again.
England! England!
And we're back. That was a good start where I played the outro before the intro. If you didn't notice it, that was a mistake. But who cares? And obviously, welcome back to the show. Adam, how you doing, mate? You okay?
Yeah, good to see you. Good to be back. Roasting.
You ready to talk absolute bollocks about football?
Yeah, I mean that's generally my my repertoire, isn't it? On the average day, so I should be able to hopefully come up with some rubbish for you.
Excellent. That's what we want. Obviously, Tom, my usual co-host, he is stuck on the train at the moment. I can see you putting away your stuff. How you doing, mate?
I'm great, mate, but my the train is now not stopping at my stop, so I'm going even further north.
Wow. Well, but you're here. That's all that matters. That's all that matters. Welcome back, Thomas. How you feeling?
Oh, phenomenal, mate. Phenomenal. I'm all for the train strikes. I'm right behind these guys because they run such a great service when they're not doing it.
Well, let's not get into that. But you're here. That's the important thing. I love it. You know, yeah, we've got you. You're just ready. You're doing it. And of course, welcome back. Another one of my sidekicks is Ian. How you doing, mate? You all right?
I'm doing good, and I cannot escape mullets. I even sent Ollie an article from this week's, and it should be, sacrosanct, but the Sunday Times Style magazine said the mullet is back.
Yeah, well, actually, Ian, funny enough, mate, I popped that in. There you go. The money returns. Love the little side bit at the bottom.
The mullet never left for me. The mullet,
No.
It's never gone. It's like, how can it be back when the mullet's always been okay?
Exactly. And I mean, all I would say is we were well ahead of the curve. All right. And just so you know, this is the first, 30 seconds of the show. We've already got a picture, which is groundbreaking for the Mullet Show. We are breaking boundaries today, also, Ian, you sent me the other part of the article, which is
it's a very serious article in the very serious newspaper.
I know.
I couldn't believe it. There's me on a Sunday, I'm reading the business section and the politics, and I open the Style magazine, and there's the bloody mullets. That's my bit of culture.
That's it. And you send them straight through, which I love. I like the bit in the bottom right and corner. If you can't see that, it says Mullet 2.0, an aftercare guide. I haven't actually read the aftercare guide. I already knew.
You wrote the article, Ollie. You wrote the article.
You know what I mean? That's me. That's me in the top there. Matey boy Billy out of Stranger Things. That's where I got it. Got the inspiration for. What do you think of that, Tom? We're famous.
Oh, mate, made it, mate. I wish I could actually see it because it's so small. It's so small on the camera. I can't see anything, mate. I've got this, mate, on my phone.
I'll be honest.
I'm just amazed you've actually read.
Well, that's what I mean, mate. I blacked it out when I got the screenshot and everything and got it in there, and it's working, so it's great. But we were ahead of the mullet, and that's why we called it the Mullet Show, and that's why we keep going with the Mullet Show. Funnily enough, I was going to shave my beard and keep a tash for this one show, but I had a power cut, so I couldn't do it. So watch next week. I'm going to have the tash out for you as well. So
Ollie's the only man who, when the power goes down, his taps won't pour. How does that work?
Well, I've got an electric shaver, mate. You've got to plug it into the main.
You can't be using a Bic, like...
No.
It's just...
I've got this shitty old thing that doesn't work anymore, and you have
That's-
to plug it into a plug socket, which is always
Oh,
bad. But
sounds like
you know
Spot
what?
City.
With the Mullet Show, we're going to start, and we're calling it Ian and Ollie's Day Out. Because where did we go,
Nice.
Ian?
Well, on the Jolly Boys outing, we went to Selhurst Park.
We did. And guess what? We got photos for that as well.
One of the funniest bits for me, Ollie, and I don't know if you had this thought, was all day I was thinking, we've become good mates. We've spent lots of time online, but we've never actually physically met in the flesh. And I wasn't sure how tall you'd be, how short you'd be, how fat you'd be. You were taller than I thought you were going to be, I have to say.
Taller and fatter than I appear on the thing.
Yeah. Was he everything you expected and more?
Everything I expected plus at 20 kilos, I reckon.
That's it. Oh, I'm not that bad, mate. Come on. Steady on. But in case you want to prove, there we are.
There we go.
On the terraces.
Yeah.
That was before, obviously, it kicked off. But it was funny because everyone was going up to me and being like, Oliver, you're in the away end, you know, to keep it down and all that. And I was like, I don't know if you noticed, but I'm like an undercover police officer, mate. I don't mess around. Mate, you would have thought I was a Palace fan, honestly. I was gutted.
It was great acting, first class acting. I thought there was going to be Oscars given out just for Homesdale Appreciation Society.
I thought it was. You know, the funny thing is, though, we the lads that obviously Ian's got season tickets with, we're going to get in early because we're worried about you getting in because I had someone else's season ticket. Anyway, so we got in there at 6 o'clock. First of all, right, the ultras go in. They're all dressed in black. And I'm like, why are they going in at 6 o'clock? And what did you say, Ian? What did they need to do?
They put a big banner up, didn't they? Did you get a picture of that?
They were doing arts and crafts. That's what they were going in
crafts.
early. And I was like, well, these are ultras, are they? Anyway,
Neil
I walked straight
I
in.
expected Tom Daly to join them at some stage with a bit of knitting, but you're right.
I walked straight in. Okay, easy as. And what happened to you, Ian?
Oh, shit. My season ticket wouldn't work. The barcode wouldn't scan. And I got sent right round all four corners of the ground, round to the ticket office. Then there was about 200 people in front of me in the queue. I get to the front and they go, yeah, that's your season ticket, but we think we might have sold it to somebody else. Now, eventually we got we got it sorted out, and I got in with about 15 minutes to spare.
The irony was we kept buying a beer for Ian, and there was like, right, no, Ian's not here. So we were absolutely hammered by the time we actually got into the ground. Ian got in there just in time. There we go. Yes, in the Palace boys. Come on, Palace!
Yeah. I'm looking sober.
Huh?
I was looking sober. You three were looking pissed.
Yeah, I was absolutely trash. But I was Palace all the way. And then I only ever saw.
Hang on a minute.
What?
I thought Ian was a diehard City fan. Blue Moon.
Yeah, absolutely I am. But do you remember, Man City's the wife, Palace are the mistress. I've lived in London for years and years, and I used to go and watch Palace with these guys because I was living in London. And I got
guess the question is, Ian, knowing you're a man of leisure, have you ever actually had a mistress?
I haven't been married in 25 years.
Yes, then. Yes, that's the answer.
So I was married once, but that was a long time ago.
Do you think that's why they wouldn't let you in? It was like the wounded mistress that was like, no, I'm not having this. You're not coming in.
I reckon Pep Guardiola phoned him up and said to that. I don't know. Technology.
And in case you ever wanted to see what the Ultras went in there to do, it was this. A TIFO, I believe it's called.
Oh, yeah, I saw that because I watched it obviously on the telly. I saw that and I saw your picture in WhatsApp and I was just like, what is it? Is it meant to be Crystal Palace?
Yeah. That's the Palace there. It's called a TIFO, I believe.
Yeah, it was the national exhibition sometime at the beginning of the 20th century, I think. But then it burnt down quite a lot of years later.
It did.
They remade it, didn't like when I was a kid, probably early. Sorry about this, Tom, but early 90s. Yeah, my era. Like one of my many stepdads was a builder and he worked on it, so we went there just before it had opened, and it was lovely. And then probably until about like 5-6 years ago, when they like did it up again, they just made it lovely and just let it like rot for years again. Do you know what I mean? It's really nice now, though, isn't it?
Now
You're
it's
not
got
thinking
there.
about Ali Pally.
No,
No,
Crystal Palace
Crystal
Park.
Palace.
Yeah, the park.
Well, it's good to see, you know, that the Palace fans went with a bit of history over, you know, the altruism. It looks like Tom's getting off the train at the moment, mate. Well done. You found your...
I found they stopped, mate.
It was quite
Bailey.
complex, wasn't it? They pulled it up with pulleys and all sorts of stuff. It was quite a complex job.
Where have you
Tom
got off,
hit the
Tom?
emergency stop button just to
I'm
get
in,
off the train.
I'm in the delights of Rugeley Trent Valley. This is the heart of the Midlands, and I'm at the heart of where all the football fans are. So this is the real people. We're making the real fans, and that's why I've come here to do some on-the-spot reporting. What do you think of football?
Who said
Oh,
that who said that the Mullet Show wasn't going to? We've actually got an on-site reporter now in a place that we've never even heard of. We've got pictures. We've got mullets. And this was a good picture because, you know, the funny thing was, though, Ian kept turning around to me and going like, "Oh, Oliver, you know, that looked like a handball to me." And I was like, "Yeah, it's bloody disgraceful. Palace should have got a penalty." All of this things. I guess we kept giving it away. But this was Ian on the steps. I mean, who even took that picture, Ian?
Edward charged further down complaining about the handball than me. And as he turned around, I was still complaining about the handball. And he snapped it on the way back up the steps. He'd sprinted about 20 steps down.
It looks like you're dabbing.
No, I wasn't doing a pobber on that one. It was. I mean, we didn't get... The referee gave a sweet FA all game. I have to say, it was
I
very...
I think there was a few that I felt like could have been given, but on the telly with the replays, they all did look ball to hand to me. Like nothing. Like he come off. One of them come off his foot, hit his arm. Like there's a couple. One that come down. He tried to move
ball to hand
way.
like the one against Diaz in the Charity Shield that Liverpool got. And so
well, that's the problem, isn't it? That's the problem. Is the consistency, like always.
That was
you know,
1 meter away.
More than anyone, but.
Yeah,
you know, you've got to take what you get, because I know we're going to get mugged off this season loads of times by the refs. So if they're not giving it now, I've got to take it and I've got to accept it and be happy about it.
Indeed. And that was obviously, you couldn't see me in the photo there because it's so bloody small. But I was there looking very upset because Palace were losing, of course. I was playing it like, you know, it was in Donny Brasco. I guess I was Donny Brasco at Crystal Palace. You know, I was that in character. So that was our little...
Take your shoes off and you had Arsenal socks on. And you're like, I'm going to take my fucking shoes off and just start beating the shit out of them. Like,
did you wear Arsenal pants underneath?
No, I'm not. This is people will think I'm an absolute muppet, but I do understand that if I had said anything, I would have got my head kicked in. And you know, as you would have seen in person, my face is even more beautiful than on the computer screen. So that was something I didn't want to do. But I was very happy inside, especially seeing all the Palace fans walk out being all miserable. I was very happy. And that was our little trip.
It was a fun atmosphere, wasn't it? There was a lot of singing, a lot of noise.
It's always good here when Arsenal win. You know what I mean? It was a great day, and thank you for taking me, mate. I appreciate it. We'll do it again.
Yeah. My favourite undercover fan story like that I know is like one of my uncles. He's like a Scouser, like my mum's side, all from Liverpool. And when Liverpool played Wimbledon, like the famous FA Cup final, got him tickets, and it was for the Wimbledon side, and like he come down with his mate, and they are like the most Scouse people that you could ever, you know what I mean? They've got the moustaches and everything, and they had like quite a short guy, had like a t-shirt with Fash the Bash on it, and he's like turned up, and it's just obvious as soon as they've spoken, but like they were expecting to get a head kicked in, but the Wimbledon fans thought it was hilarious, and they made mates with them and everything. Do you know what I mean? So they might not have beaten you up. They might have thought it was funny.
I know. I think they would have definitely. People have an affliction just to want to kick my head in just because of the way I am. It doesn't even matter.
I think he would have had his head shaven by the ulcers before he left the ground.
Head kicked in, thrown through the Palace gates. And that was our little trip to Palace. So moving on, we've spoken about Zuma's cat on the show before. Obviously, he's he's a big fan of. Well, we're a big fan of his, and we want to stand up for his rights.
Just a big fan of the cat. Yeah, we're a big fan of the cat, not
The
Zuma.
cat, yeah,
the cat,
not
we're
Zuma,
fans
no.
of
Oh,
the cat.
I missed that. What was the
That
cat's name?
bastard.
What was
And I
the
believe
cat's
there's
name?
been
It
some
was a-
movement on Zuma's cat, Ian.
It was a Bengal, wasn't it? Yeah. So, which I thought was really, really, really funny. Quite close to the end of City West Ham, and Julian Alvarez, the City's new South American lad, came on, and he was darting here, there, and everywhere. And then he smacked this ball, and literally from a few yards, it caught Kurt Zuma right in the chops. He went down like a bag of spammers, and he got a picture of it. Is there a picture there?
I thought, is this the picture you wanted?
So then the next day, up comes this spoof one of, Julian Alvarez, Player of the Month for the RSPCA Association. But it was, I'm going to play you. It was the chant that came out so quickly afterwards that just so impressed me.
That's how your cat felt.
That's how your cat felt. That's how your cat felt. That's how your cat felt.
You know what the funny thing is, Ian? When you
quick
sent
was
me
that
that, I
witness?
didn't even know it was
Fans
a
were
joke.
chanting that while he was still on the deck.
I didn't know that was a joke. I thought you'd actually. I don't thought you'd actually been employed by the RSPCA. I'm not going to lie.
No, that was a spoof.
No. Well,
But the chant was
we
real.
Can we not make it happen? To be fair,
that
the
was
cat
real.
didn't get hit in the face.
I thought it was fair cop. That one was for the Bengal. I think it was a Bengal cat, wasn't it? Beautiful cat. You paid thousands of quid for them.
I actually thought that was
Was
an
it
official
Bengal
thing.
or was it a? No, it wasn't. It was a Maine Coon. I think it was a Maine Coon.
Oh yeah, they're big.
They have haircuts a bit like you, Ollie, but they're huge cats.
That's
Actually,
it.
yeah,
What,
they're
it's got a
amazing.
mullet, is it?
Yeah, I reckon if you have a look now about a Maine Coon cat, I reckon a Maine Coon cat possibly does have a mullet.
They come from like apparently the legend is with them is like Marie Antoinette, like when she got her head chopped off before she was going to flee and she was going to go to America, and she had like a boat and she had loads of cats, and they took them all there like to Maine in America, and they interbred with the with like the wild cats there, and that's why that's where they come from basically. But they're huge. Like you should get like one with a scale. Get one with scale, like because you get like a picture of a Maine Coon where a person's holding it, and they're just like absolutely huge.
That one
Very
looks like
good,
it's
aren't
off
they?
It's not on ecstasy, the one you showed first. And
Oh, hang on. This one, I told you they look like Ollie. Hang on. Look at that lad.
I don't know. He looks a bit
It's
older.
beautiful, Ollie. It's beautiful, mate. Take
He
it as a
looks a bit
compliment.
older than me. I'm not
Look
saying.
at that guy there. Look
I'm
at him
more
on
the
the
first
fish tank.
one. I'm not more the first one who looks high on ecstasy. I think that was more.
Hang on, no. This is the better picture. This is
There you go. The Maine Coon cats. I'm so surprised at the
Yeah, like, look at the
history.
size of this. Look at the size of that.
oh, that's a big boy.
That's not real.
No, it is
That's not
100%. They're
real.
huge. Maine Coons are huge, mate.
No, sorry.
Yeah.
No,
Ollie,
that's not real.
Look at
No.
literally.
That
Look
is
it
not
up,
real.
mate. Look, that's another one. They're absolutely massive.
Oh yeah.
Well,
They
that
get
one
like
looks
they get really big. Like
that one
seriously,
looks a
they're
little
huge
bit
cats.
more. That one
They're
looks a
like the
little bit
biggest
more
breed. That
believable.
other cat is like one of the biggest cats in the world, but it's a Maine Coon. They're absolutely huge.
Imagine how big the poo is in the dirt tray.
Oh my
You know,
days.
we were talking
Imagine
about birds pooing on the last show. Imagine
Yeah,
how
I mean-
big a Maine Coon poo is.
That's
Yeah.
why you got to let it
Yeah,
out,
true.
because at least they bury it. Do you know what I mean? Like cats are great because they bury it, don't they? Like
Yeah, well,
Well,
hang
so-
on, but Maine Coons are worth loads of money, so people keep them indoors, so they're going to have a dirt tray.
oh, that's no life for a cat. No life for
No.
a cat.
Well, Zuma wouldn't kick a cat that big. I mean, it would bloody eat him, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Mm.
Well, that's the hope. Hope he does get a Maine Coon. That'd
Anyway,
be
it's
a
been
nice bit
taken
of
off
a
here.
poetic
I
justice,
thought it
wouldn't it?
was a Maine Coon.
Maybe it was a
thought it was a
baby.
Maine
I
Coon,
don't know
couldn't
whether. Yeah,
remember.
I feel
Hang
like.
on, let's have a look. Talking on Kurt Zuma's cat.
As you can see,
Zuma's
we don't
cat.
do
To know
any
what Zuma's
research
cat was.
on this show. We don't do any research. We've just shown 2 pictures that weren't even loaded into the show, and we were so up on all the rest of the stuff. Tom's gone. He's trying to get home. We're actually waiting for Tom to get back so we can do his bits. You know, like, we're one of those bits like this morning when you're like, okay, just keep it going until Tom gets back. But no, I'm glad we touched on the cats. I'm glad we worked out that
it wasn't a Maine Coon, it was a Bengal.
Bengal. They're not as big, though. They're not as big, are they?
No, they're quite stripy and pretty cats.
They're not bad, So, Adam, right, I want to ask you this. Why is Haaland such a miserable bastard? He is so miserable. Like,
the thing is, to me,
he's so miserable, isn't he?
I mean, I've not heard him speak. I've seen pictures of him where he's got like a bit of a weird grin. He just strikes me as like a bit of a Bond villain, you know, like 80s Bond, like, you know, like Rod, the sort of guy that you'd see
give us an example. What
like Jaws, without the teeth, you know.
Who was the guy who fought Rocky? Lundgren.
Oh, Lundgren, Dolph Lundgren, the most underrated actor of all time.
Yeah, he's
a legend.
Universal Soldier.
Universal Soldier. Oh my God, what a film!
He was all ears in that, wasn't he? All ears.
Oh!
But it's that Nordic look, isn't it? It's that Viking.
Yeah.
Scandinavian.
You can be a bloody Viking. It doesn't mean like I watch Vikings. They smile at some point. Haaland.
It was funny afterwards. He went, because they asked him about how he felt about being pulled off without scoring a hat trick, and he went, "Yeah, I felt really shit." And this was on the BBC, and the comments before said, he said, "Oh, you know, you've got to tone your language down or whatever." And Haaland went,
"All right, oh shit." But do you think he'll ever smile when he scores a goal?
No, he does.
I think he's probably still feeling like Roy Keane's tackle on his dad, isn't he? So it's just like, you know, it's one of those tackles that your son will feel. So maybe that's why he's so miserable.
He does the yoga sit down, doesn't he?
I have to say, I do love that celebration.
Yeah, the lotus position.
I do love that celebration.
Yeah,
that was good to see that in the Premier League.
It's a little bit different than Gabriel Jesus's, phone me one, isn't it?
That's a funny one. I was going to put this in Bovel's bits, right? But we'll put it in here because we're talking about celebrations. Did anyone see Mitrovic's celebration when he scored the second goal for Fulham?
No.
Right, so I'm going to do a little. So he was like, right? And I was watching it. I was like, what the fuck is that, for starters? Secondly, it reminded me of, Sloth from Goonies, yeah? As if Sloth had picked up a piece of treasure and going, to hear if there was treasure inside. I did some research. I'm not going to lie. I did some research. And apparently Luca Toni used to do that celebration. But I don't know if he did it so sloth-like, if you know what I mean.
I mean, bringing up Sloth, Haaland probably has got a sloth about him as well, isn't he? Do you know what I mean? Like, if they were going to cast it nowadays and remake the Goonies, they'd be like, oh, we can't make Sloth look the way that he did because, so we just get like a large simpleton. Now, this is no disrespect to Haaland, but I think he could play that.
He does look,
and that's what I mean. It's like you say, with Dolph Lundgren, it's just like that character of like he'd be like the perfect, like the super henchman. Do you know what I mean? It's like the guy that you fight. We'll bring back to Indiana Jones because that's a really good point of reference. But in every film,
this is not a film podcast.
Oh no, it's not. But no rules. Yeah,
no rules.
Just for my analogy, like. My analogy is, like in every Indiana Jones films, he fights like a big beast, and it's like, the first one, the guy goes into the propeller, the next time, and they all meet like a horrible end, don't they? Like, and it's always a really hard fight. Haaland could be that guy that he fights, in that film, couldn't he? Like
because they never smile.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, they never, except when they're inflicting some sort of sadistic damage on someone. Like they always get off on that.
In a sense, his lotus flower celebration is kind of ironic. Seems as he's miserable, he's a beast, and
maybe he's just so balanced that he has no emotions at all.
He's in a piece.
Yeah, he's just like, I'm not happy. I'm not sad. I'm nothing. Like,
all right. So We're saying he could be Sloth Goonies, right? We're saying he's definitely the big bald guy in Indiana Jones who gets killed by the propeller. Spoiler alert, if you've not seen it, then I'm sorry. But it happens.
It's only like 40 years old, so if you've
Okay,
not seen it.
Give me another Haaland movie crossover, another character.
Okay, so he's Jaws. He's Jaws, and when the next Bond, when they reboot Jaws as a bad guy, Haaland.
Jaws, Dolph Lundgren.
We had Dolph as well, but Dolph's quite kind to him though, because Dolph is a beautiful looking man.
Yeah, but he's still got that coldness. If you think, what's his name, Ivan
robotic
Drago?
Look. He looks android. It's an android look, isn't it?
Yeah.
Terminator.
Yeah. Oh, yes. No, I reckon he could do Terminator. He's got the emotions for Terminator. Haaland's got the emotions
You know who
for
I've
Terminator.
got though? I've kind of got Die Hard with a Vengeance.
Oh yeah, no, not even with a Vengeance. I'm talking like the first Die Hard, the two brothers that he kills, and then the one that comes out at the end. Yeah, like they're like get down, and the guy shoots. He's going, yeah, that is him. That's
Jeremy
him.
Irons. It was Jeremy Irons.
No, it's not like
no. He's got a ponytail. And
he was in loads of.
Alan Rickman.
No. He's like one of the henchmen, but he was in loads of films in the. Have you ever seen The Money Pit with Tom Hanks?
Yeah, classic.
Yeah, he's like the woman's ex-husband in that. His name's always Carl, like, and he's got like really
Should we do some
hair.
research? Should we do some research? Find him, Adam.
I'm finding him.
While you're finding him, while Adam's finding him, tracking him down. Ollie, can you imagine all those little man kids are going to be doing that Haaland celebration in the playground, and every time they score a goal at school?
But they might smile after
because they were all the kids at school were doing the dab, weren't they, for a while? And now they're going to be doing the Haaland.
Yeah, but I've not got a problem with Haaland. Obviously, he looks like so many great actors who have been in the 80s and 90s, because we don't go further than that. That's just the rule on the show. He's just a miserable bastard.
I know Rutger Hauer.
Rutger Hauer. This guy's got a Rutger Hauer about him. This guy.
Oh, God.
Oh. Yeah,
that's him, man.
He's in loads of. Oh, what about Vigo the Carpathian from Ghostbusters 2? It's the little man. He didn't like that suggestion. He don't.
No, he didn't. It was the Ghostbuster bit he didn't like.
He didn't like that.
No, he's a Ghostbusters 1 fan. Personally, I'm Ghostbusters 2 all the way. But you know,
I mean, Ghostbusters 2.
What was that? What was that recreation of Ghostbusters all about when they replaced all the characters with women?
Yeah, that wasn't
rebooted. But is it like there's a really like great episode of Always Sunny where they reboot one of their episodes with all women, and it's a similar thing. It's like when we make a reboot with all women, do we just not write them a new film for women? Why do we have to then go, oh well, they've got to be these characters, and they just pretty much do the same thing as the men?
It's like the reboot. It's like the reboot of Match of the Day with all the blokes on, rebooted onto Sky Sports, fronted by all the women.
I mean, I'm not sure whether we're coming from it from the same perspective.
Anyway, moving on. We're going into dark territory right now. Ghostbusters 3 was not great. It was not great. And Ghostbusters 4 wasn't great either.
I haven't seen the fourth one.
Men, women, it don't matter. It just, when everything's good, just leave it.
I heard like one of those rumours that Bill Murray apparently said that they asked him to do it, and he said he'd only do it if he could be a ghost, and they said no. Now, if that's true, that's just like, what a missed opportunity having Peter Venkman as a ghost in the reboot. That would have just been perfect, wouldn't it?
He was
Bill Murray as well.
He was.
He did a cameo, wasn't he? Yeah, but it's just like,
spoiler alert, they were in it at the end. Okay, so
but when I was on the train coming back on Saturday from London, and there was loads of people dressed up as Ghostbuster. There must have been some convention or something. They had all the gear at King's Cross Station.
Stag do.
No, these were serious geeky dudes. Like you have a Star Trek convention. I think they've been to a Ghostbusters convention.
Ian, did you chin him and be like, "Get the fuck off my train"?
I did get on a train once when there was like a convention. I did get on a train once when there was like loads of people going to a sci-fi convention, and the whole train was basically full of people in costume, which was pretty surreal. But
How was that? What kind of things did they talk about on the train? I was finding
I
out
didn't know. Like, the thing is,
fascinating.
though, it's just like I think I just slept, but it was more just like when I woke up, it was full of like those. But so I might have been dreaming, but you know, disclaimer, I might have been but yeah, it had loads of people. So there was like loads of Star Trek people, Star Wars people, just like Ghostbusters. I think there was someone dressed as RoboCop. So it was
Oh
like,
my!
obviously,
RoboCop was there. Was Predator there?
not that I saw, but then he could have had his invisibility on, so I wouldn't have seen him anyway.
That
Too much
sounds like
cheese
the greatest-
before bedtime, Adam. I reckon.
Yeah.
That sounds like the
Yeah,
greatest
maybe.
day. What would have been the greatest day?
I feel like now, retrospectively, I didn't appreciate it as much at the time as I should have. Now I'm like, I missed the trick there because that would have been great, I reckon, to hang with all those geeks. But you know,
Yeah, I mean, at least you didn't start a conversation because you could have.
yeah, that would have been crazy.
You could have got lost in there. You could have been.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, well, you'd never see me again, and then like 20 years time, I'll just turn up at a convention like dressed up as a Dalek.
I mean, like, what happened, Adam? Well,
Just like I got in too deep. I've been living as a Dalek for the last 20 years.
oh, that's absolutely genius. All right, well, Tommy's running out of time, but we usually do Bovrill's bits, yeah. We usually do Bovrill's bits at the end of the show, but now we're gonna do it at the halfway point. Are you ready for Bovrill's bits, guys?
Yeah.
I know these are your favourite bits. I've been told that Bovrill's bits is the favourite bit of the show. So, thank you for the one person who's watching. Lovely to have you with us. It's good to see our audience is growing. Please like and subscribe to FTB Sports.
That's Tom. That one person's Tom. No, because he's.
Don't say that, Adam. Don't say that because I mean,
he's battery run out. It's not him. It's
It's
someone
I
else.
was
probably my
literally
mother.
playing
Yeah.
to this one person, and it was really getting me going. And if I know it's just nobody, it might kill my spirit. No, it doesn't matter.
It's
Anyway,
somebody. It's somebody.
Bovrill's bits. Here we go. And just when you thought there weren't enough pictures, well, we've got more pictures, guys. We've got more pictures. We're going up in the world. All right. So, first of all, who's this guy?
Oh, I know. It's getting ugly at Forest.
Yes.
That's Cooper.
Okay. So, So Cooper.
Steve Cooper.
When it's going back to film again, funny enough, first thing I saw when I saw him in touch, I was like, bloody hell. You know, he looks like this character from a film. Can you guess what character?
Gollum.
I mean, I'm sorry, Steve Cooper. I know you're watching right now. I do apologize. I know you're a big fan. But, bruv, I'll do it again. I mean, it's just uncanny. Isn't it?
Do you think? I really think that either Cooper or Potter at Brighton could be future England managers. But it
not
could
looking
hold,
like that.
it
You've
could
got to
hold
look
him
good.
back, couldn't it? The marketing team aren't going to like that much.
You got
It's
to
not
look good,
Tom
Dave.
Southgate, though. You notice how Southgate has, he's obviously got a stylist now. He's obviously got someone taking care of his skin and his hair for him. So it's kind of like he's grown into that role because he wasn't always as dapper as some people consider him to be now, So maybe that's what comes when you get that call up for England. You just somehow get that majesty, you get the team behind you, and you then become a DILF.
So
what's
the
a
appoint Steve Cooper.
A DILF is like a MILF, but a dad.
You've got a styling team of half a dozen, and they appoint Steve Cooper, and the guys from Lancaster Gate walk him into the styling team and say, "Here's the new England manager. Make the best of him or whatever." What are the styling going to take? The styling team are going to take one look. They're either going to all resign or.
Yeah, the thing is, what I would say, and this is bringing it back to football kind of wise, I mean, aren't the uglier football managers usually better?
Well, Ferguson was ugly, and he was not a bad manager.
I mean, he weren't that bad looking when he was younger. But
Dave Moyes. There's some great pictures of Dave Moyles. When he
Oh,
was a
in his
kid.
early days. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. He looks like a
When he was a
zombie or
real
something,
ginger.
doesn't he?
I mean, Harry Redknapp, he weren't no oil painting, but
I
he
think,
was
like,
a good man.
Pep's not a bad looking guy, is he? You know, he's
No,
an all right looking guy,
I
I'm
disagree.
sure.
I don't think Pep's good looking.
But I think women would disagree with you in the same way as like Mourinho, like maybe not so much now since he's gone like skinhead, you know, and he's just a little bit more like a thug now. But in the early days, women used to love Mourinho, didn't they? You know,
There were pictures
So-
in the press today showing what he looked like at United, looking knackered, and pictures now at Roma where he's lost a bit of weight, his hair.
You're loving this, aren't you? Poor old Steve Cooper.
It's brilliant.
Hello?
It's brilliant.
Hello?
I've
Okay.
got Steve Cooper's mother. She's
Steve's
really
on the phone.
upset.
She
His
was the
mum's on
one
phone.
watching.
Yeah.
Put the phone down. It's not his mum.
It doesn't mean it. He's only having a laugh.
I'm
Honestly.
sorry. I'm sorry, Steve Cooper's mum.
I've got to go.
Sorry, Steve Cooper's mum. But it is uncanny. All right, no. So that's my first bit of Bubbles bits. All right, second bit. All right, second part. Did you see Scott Parker's jacket for Bournemouth?
No.
No. Well, this is the jacket. Okay. What
That masking
the fuck
tape.
is going
No,
on?
that's loads of pop stars and stuff have got that with the stripes, and Ed Sheeran had one on.
I don't like it. But this
Three
one made me
stripes
laugh.
maximum in
It's
my
a
house.
brand, yeah. What is
This
it?
is what made
It's
me
a
laugh.
brand.
Is the tweet that someone put out. They put Scott Parker's jacket looks like something a costume designer would create to tell the audience this character is definitely a fascist. First of all, thank you at Composer Brad on Twitter for that. Second of all, I love the way he went about it. He went, well, I can't just be like, that guy looks like a fascist. So what I'll do is I'll start with, this looks something like a costume designer, bringing it back to films, would tell the audience he's a fascist. Okay, at Composer Brad, just say it like it is. You think he looks like a fascist in that coat. I mean, is that
No,
offensive?
but I think like the nuance of the way he's delivered that is like saying because he doesn't look like a fascist and it doesn't look like a fascist jacket, but
He's
it
too
does
good
look
looking to
like
be a fascist.
what a stylist or like a film set, you know, would say. We need to make people know he's a fascist, so we'll give him this thing that's going to be the fascist thing. I can see, like,
it was
it works
funny
for me,
because
you know.
a couple of years ago there was pictures. Who's the Bayern Munich goalkeeper?
Oliver Kahn,
No,
That's what I was
Manuel
Now-
Neuer, Manuel
Neuer.
Neuer. Yeah.
Neuer.
There was a picture of Neuer and he got the rainbow armband on, yeah. And the caption
Nothing wrong
underneath
with that.
was not the first time the Germans have been spotted marching with armbands.
Bloody hell. The things people come up with on Twitter. But I mean, that's quite good. It's quite fitting with the kind of film theme we've just worked into this
Big
show.
part of our lives, Ollie.
I
It's
think
hard
those
not
three
to include it,
bands
isn't it?
are a brand because I saw Ed Sheeran with that jumper and I saw
I
someone
mean,
else on it.
come on though. Would you wear that
But
blazer?
that is, if that's what someone's done, look, like Three Stripes Adidas is like the most iconic stripes
yeah,
you're going to get.
sorry.
yeah?
No, but not
So
going
basically
round
what
the
they've done
arm.
is-
like.
But what they've done is they've done like the Gillette. Oh, we got 3 blades. I'll tell you what, we better than
It's
3
4
blades. We have 4 blades.
You don't think he's been? You know, it's like a
Sponsored
lion
by
claw.
Gillette.
He's been clawed by a lion before the game. He had a proper jacket, and they're actually claws. Put it back. It looks like he's been clawed on the way to the
Apparently,
game.
it's a very expensive jacket. But I mean, stripes going down, like so. Yeah, we're saying Adidas stripes go down. That works. Stripes going around.
They're hoops, aren't they? Technically, they're hoops.
Yeah, no, but 1 or 2 hoops, but 4.
Oh yeah, no, 4 hoops is too many hoops, mate.
So I think he was auditioning for The Sound of Music. Another film reference there. Boom. I mean, and we counted
If I
how many.
saw that, I'd be like, "Why you got masking tape on your really expensive jackets, Carl?"
That's what I thought first. I saw it. I was like, "What the hell is this man wearing?" But he is a beautiful man. And thank you for Composer Brad.
Do
He's a real
you think he's better looking than Pep Guardiola?
100%.
Really?
It's different.
I
It's different
think
from
that
I would say Pep looks
Parker.
more fascist.
Scott Parker's better looking. I don't know. Yeah, it's I don't know. That's controversial for me.
Yeah.
Well, you know, we love a bit of controversy. Obviously, I mean, is it? is it bad to call people a fascist these
I
days?
wonder if it's now going to be a lucky jacket, because obviously if they've had their first win, can we expect him to be wearing it in the next game and only replace it when they lose? I wonder.
Well, they're playing City next, aren't they?
Yeah.
Bournemouth.
Yeah, I wonder if he's
soon
going to wear it
to
the
be
Etihad.
a part in Bovril's bits will be what is Scott Parker wearing next week?
Wearing this week, yeah. Hopefully he wears that same jacket every week. Like,
It's brilliant. It's brilliant.
get it dry clean, Scott.
Yeah, no, well, I'm so can't wait. I bet he's going to come out with something really rubbish. We'll also continue to read out composer Brad's tweets because I thought they were very good. We hate fascists. Okay, so we don't like them.
Just if there was any anything that wasn't clear there, should say we're
if there was any grey area, we don't like fascists. Okay.
Yeah.
Also, Nottingham Forest. Okay. Why they got no sponsor on their shirt? Like, whose job was that? Like, all right, Darren, right, go out and get us a sponsor, make us some money, mate. Like on Football Manager, like you got to go and I mean, someone dropped the bomb on that.
But it's not as funny as Leeds United haven't got a third kit. Did you know that?
Really?
Because it was all in a container that fell off a boat in the Atlantic. So the Leeds United kit is at the bottom of the Atlantic somewhere.
No, at least it had a sponsor, right?
Basically, I listened to a pod about a man.
The container fell off the boat.
They should be able to find it because earlier I basically listened to a podcast and there was a guy who was basically saying about people that are unsung heroes, and he's the guy who made Moneyball, the guy who wrote that book that was that film.
Right, another movie thing. That's
he was saying that this guy at this certain awards, he spent 15 years basically working out drift patterns of when a boat or someone was lost and someone fell overboard and worked out a perfect mathematical equation. And before this guy did this and taught Coast Guards it, people would just be lost at sea and there'd be no chance to find them. And then basically since then, and he's done this equation, they find out where they fell, what time, and then they can work out where in the sea they are, which is amazing.
The guy from Moneyball.
No, the guy from Moneyball is writing a book about this other guy.
Oh,
now.
right.
Yeah.
I was going to say, he's a talented guy.
Yeah, but that's just things you take for granted, in the world that, it's really important. Think how many lives that's saved. Do you know what I mean? So now Leeds have got no excuse. They just need to get that guy's equations, find out where the container is, and then the difficulty is getting the container out of the water because I can imagine that's a pain in the arse.
Yeah, not a fishing rod job.
It was a nice.
I also remember an airplane disaster movie on the theme of movies again, where a plane crashes to the bottom of the sea and they dig it under and put floats underneath it, blow them up.
That's the one where it's going to fall off a ledge, isn't it, to go into really deep ocean?
Yeah. And have to get
that's 20, 30 years ago, that movie.
Yeah, I mean it's longer than that. It's mid-70s, I think. But it's that same era of the Tower in Inferno and all those sorts of disaster films.
We're going out of 80s and 90s there.
Back into the 70s. Right. I mean,
we don't tend to go into the 70s.
Brief foray into the 70s.
Steve McQueen.
Well, funny enough, we're going to be talking about kits next. So, unfortunately, Leeds did not feature because their kit's at the bottom of the sea. But it's good to hear the guy who's wrote Moneyball is working out a way of finding those kits.
But just on Forest though, it's weird. It's when you can see the local under-10s getting sponsored by McDonald's and stuff like that. You think surely a club in the Premier League can find a sponsor. Do you know what I mean?
Wakefield are sponsored by the Cribs. I mean,
is that right? The Cribs sponsor Wakefield.
You get a Wakefield shirt, it just says the Cribs on it. I mean, I'm sure they didn't pay them for that. Okay,
doesn't Ed Sheeran sponsor Ipswich or something?
Yeah, but we don't like Ed Sheeran.
No, we know. I don't like him. He's crap.
He's definitely a fascist. He's got one of those phrases.
Yeah, that's it. It's screw the libel about calling people fascists that we said earlier. You heard it here first. Ed Sheeran is definitely a fascist. No, I'm not saying Ed Sheeran's a fascist. I'm just saying fascists probably listen to Ed Sheeran.
He wore the blazer.
Ed Sheeran's lawyer. He wants your number.
It's also his mum as well. So
I'm sorry, Ed. We'll take it down. The good thing is, no one's going to say anything about this because I don't think anyone's ever got past the 43-minute mark of a Mullet Show. But we could clip it because it might be quite funny. We'll see. You never know. Bad press is good press. The irony is I don't even know what fascist is. I just thought it was someone who wears a blazer with 4 stripes.
You know Ed Sheeran. Basically, imagine Ed Sheeran in the jumper with 4 stripes on the arm.
That's a fascist.
That's a
what we're
fascist.
Ignorance is bliss. Okay, next thing. Match of the day. Shearer made a very, very bad joke.
Did he?
And he said, do you want me to repeat the joke? It's pretty bad. He said, Valerie, what are you doing over there? Why don't you come on over? And I just thought, Shearer, shut up. Leave the jokes to Ian Wright, mate, because that was terrible. And even Ian Wright was like, bruv, man, don't do it.
I remember first hearing that by the Zootons, wasn't it? The first version.
I know. I mean, but Shearer just shouldn't make jokes. He's not a funny guy.
He's not.
He can't do it. Ian Wright is. So that was just another Bovrils bits. Did anyone see the Crouch and Rio Ferdinand love off on BT Sport?
No.
They were asking each other questions about football. And I was just thinking, you're both professional footballers. You clearly know what's going on. Like, don't be like, oh, so what does that mean, Crouchy? It's like, well, this is what I think and this is what I would do. Don't lead us down the garden path. You're professional footballers. You should know what the fuck you're talking about.
They're just trying to fill time, aren't they, on BT Sport? Just trying to fill time because they ain't got that many games. Like, we'll just put loads of football programming on and it can just be absolute dog shit with the footballers whose opinions you don't really care about.
And then Genus on the co-commentary became the world's best.
Genus, he needs a slap. I hate him on the One Show.
He's a nice guy. He's a nice guy, but I don't
like the fact that
No. He's just wet. He's just wet. He's vanilla. He's just like beige.
Say it, Ian.
Boring.
Say it. No, say
Bland.
it. No. He's a fascist. He's got one of those phrases.
You did hear the Peter Crouch story when he was talking about Abby Clancy and saying, my girlfriend is totally not interested in football. In fact, once she phoned me up 10 minutes before a game to ask where I was.
I think I've listened to like podcasts with her though, like when she's in the game.
He's about to go onto the pitch. He said, "Where are you?"
She is quite a likable person. I listen to her on like a podcast as well as a guest, and she's not what you'd think. I quite like their relationship.
Genius's missus.
No, not Jean. Crouch's missus.
Crouch's, yeah, she's nice.
Yeah, the two of them, they're like, I like them as a couple.
Right, Dansworth and quite pretty.
I quite like Crouchy. I like Crouchy. It's a funny story about Crouchy actually. I was working in the cinema, and they were going through the doors, and then my usher just let them straight through, and I went, "What the hell did you just do?" And he went, "Well, I just let them through." It's Peter Crouch. I went, "Did you check their ticket? Did you check the film on the ticket? Did you rip the ticket?" No. Took him downstairs, gave him a fact finding, said, doesn't matter who they are, you follow the rules.
Did you go down ever show me up in front of Crouch like that?
Could you imagine having a seat behind Peter Crouch? How much of the movie would the next 3 or 4 rows who were sat behind Peter Crouch get to see?
To be fair, Ian, it wasn't a very busy cinema, so I doubt that.
And also, Crouch is really tall, but he's also stick thin, so you just need to like move a couple of inches to either side, and you can see round him.
Turn your head.
Because
he's got like a long head, isn't he? He's got like that really long head.
Okay.
In the Palace visitors section and in some of the old grounds, you used to end up sitting or standing behind a pillar to watch the game, and you'd move either side of the pillar in the old days to get around the game.
Channel 5 started doing European football back in the day. They'd just have their camera behind the pillar, and you just literally all the way through the game just have this pillar whenever the ball was in the middle of the pitch.
Do you remember the Channel 5 theme tune?
What?
My sister worked for Channel 5, worked on there for years. I literally can't even remember.
Do you want me to do you the Channel 5 theme tune?
Do it.
No, you don't don't even remember.
Oh yeah. No,
No, don't give me
I like the
that.
last bit.
Oh yeah, I remember it now.
You know, from that last little bit, I got that. But Channel 5, like when they started like 5 US and that, they used to just like they would only be programming after a certain time, and they'd just play like these back-to-back promos. And some of the music on there was wicked. Like
Adam,
whoever was the musical director, and like that, you know, like great choices.
I can't believe you got me to do the theme tune, and then you totally mugged me off. Not a problem. Anyway,
Just
so
reeled you
we're
in.
going on to the last bit. Doesn't look like that Tom's going to get back, but don't worry, we'll have Tom's bits on the next show.
He's lost with no phone battery.
He's lost in the middle of nowhere, but he'll be there.
He's in the Midlands, isn't he?
Well, yeah, somewhere. I don't know.
He don't live there, does he?
Isn't Tom Sport Millwall?
Yeah, he's Millwall. He lives in the Midlands, though.
Oh, does he? I didn't know that.
On the subject of the Midlands, Ollie, weren't you? I didn't watch much of the Commonwealth Games, but for some reason I was watching the closing ceremony, and I couldn't believe that Ozzy Osbourne came on and sang Paranoid. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe what I was looking at.
I'll be honest, Ian. If I ever found myself watching the Commonwealth Games, I might actually just give up everything.
And why is that, Ollie? Because the Commonwealth Games are fascist.
I don't do athletics. I hate it. Just so you know.
I didn't watch hardly any. I just watched the end.
I think Sabbath's a good enough reason to tune in, isn't it?
Ian, it's okay.
What drew my attention was there was when I was looking for Sky or whatever on the telly, and it came on because it was stuck on BBC One or whatever it was, and there were some dancers at the end of the Commonwealth Games, but the music was Kashmir by Led Zeppelin, and that's what drew my attention to it. I heard Kashmir. I thought, what's Kashmir doing on the telly? And it was the end of the Commonwealth Games, so I put it on when I heard Kashmir by Led Zeppelin,
Ian,
which is a fairly credible reason to put it on.
I'm hearing
and then
now
Ozzy came on.
His excuses.
Have
you got a blazer with four?
If you see Ozzy, then you're well within your rights to not turn over. That's what I think. You know, Sabbath are brilliant.
FYI, guys, unfortunately, our one viewer got to 48 minutes and is gone. I think it was probably my dad or maybe my wife.
They sound like a fascist to me.
They were really digging it until
no, they weren't fascist. Our viewers aren't fascists. We love them.
No, they're not. We only have one viewer, so I mean, I guess there's a small pool to play from. You've only got one strike. Well, Ian, why are you whispering? Don't worry.
Because I didn't want you to think I was a fascist because I had a stripe on my shirt.
Don't worry, we've got stripes.
I'm only a quarter fascist.
Anyway, we've got 9 minutes. Okay, we've got 9 minutes. All right, so this last bit is about kits. Okay, so I'm going to show you a kit, and then I'm going to go to you first, Ian, and I want you to tell me what this kit reminds you of and what emotions it throws up. All right, so this is the first one. It's Chelsea's third kit. What do you think of this one?
I think he should have joined City, but
no, the player, Ian, the kit.
You know the new owner, Todd. It looks like the chairman or the owner's wife has had a go at designing a kit, and then the kids are on the front.
Ian, cutting. Having a go at Todd Bowley's wife. I love it.
I reckon Todd Bowley, because he's trying to run everything else, and I think his wife's gotten on the scene to design the kit. That's what I thought.
You know what? That's
You're going to get a call from her in a minute.
Get on the phone. That's one of the best answers. We can't see you, Ian. We'll come back. That's one of the best answers I've ever heard, Ian. I love that. Adam, what do you think?
Well, if I'm counting correctly, I see 1, 2,
No.
more than 3 stripes. More than 3 stripes. We all know what that means.
There's 5.
Yeah, which means he's double fascist.
Well, yeah. Well, he's not. It's just the kit.
He's not. The kit is. No, I mean it's okay, isn't it? But it looks to me like a bit like a rugby league kit.
Yeah, you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of like the kind of branding or marketing you would have for a swimming pool. It's like, come and get in the swimming pool for £2 during school holidays, and that would be like the kind of background to it.
3-year-old.
I know exactly what it looks like. It looks
it's
like
the 3-year-old swim school.
It's wet wipes. Like now, you know, I've got a kid. I've been cleaning nappies like you wouldn't believe. That's the wet wipe design. They've just lifted that off wet wipe packets.
Stop it. Next week we'll have the wet white design just so we can cross-check that.
Yeah,
we always
I'll
do our
bring it
research.
in. I'll bring in my evidence to back up my claim.
Okay, Adam, we'll start with you with this next one. This is the Norwich third kit. I put the tweet in just so I thought we didn't get sued or anything like that. But first of all, what's missing?
I mean, yeah. Well, you'd think that they could get a sponsor, you know. But I mean, I'm not a fan of like the design stuff, like, you know, like the pattern. Like, I think it's got to be a very good pattern to work on a football kit, like you're showing now. But at the time, I remember when that kit you're wearing come out, and same as the United one with all the little Adidas, people were like, oh, it's horrible, and you know. But now, iconic. I can't see this kit being iconic in 20 years.
No. What does it remind you of? What kind
Looks
of thing?
like they've got, you know, when guys have a whole sleeve of tattoos. Well, it looks like you've got 2 half sleeve of tattoos on there.
It reminds me. It kind of makes you think of like a lifeguard on a beach. You know,
Got a theme here, water theme here.
Yeah, we're not going with the red and yellow this year, guys. We've fruited it up. We're going to give you some light blue. I mean, it's absolutely disgusting. I mean, it's one of the worst I've seen. So that was the Norwich third kit.
It's
Forest, yeah.
That is Norwich, yeah. No sponsor. You know why? Darren messed up. I'm sorry I'm putting this all over your face, Ian, but you're in the middle,
okay.
mate.
I have a face for radio.
Okay, so I actually quite like this one. This is the away edition of Southampton.
What?
I like the kind of treatment they used on the photo. It makes it look very...
Yeah, a little bit of a film grain on there.
Yeah. What do you think, Ian? What do you think of this one? I like this. This is one of my faves.
Looks like something your missus would buy in Monsoon.
Yeah, maybe that's why. I like big women in sea patterns. I don't know what it is. I think it's quite nice. I would buy that.
Really?
I think they're trying a bit hard. To me, it looks a little bit like one of Del Boy's dressing gowns.
Also,
it is a bit Chinese print dressing gown. I get what you're saying.
Ian, what would you say? Like, if there's a speech bubble above this guy's head, what is he
Let's
saying?
see if this guy likes it. Do you like that?
There we go. He seems like he likes it. So there we go.
It's not Arsenal, is it?
I think his speech bubble is the missus is going to be pissed when she realises I've used the curtains to turn it into a kit.
There we go. Use the
It is shower curtain-y. Definitely shower curtain-y.
It's definitely the better of the three, though, isn't it? It's definitely the better of the three.
Yeah, of the 3, yeah, I'd say so.
Okay, next one. I quite like this post.
Adam, what's your guy called?
Hansel.
You
say hello. Got a spoon. Nice.
He's got his debut. He's got his debut on the Mullet Show. He'll be back. Don't worry about that. What do we think of this one?
To go to grow a mullet. I like the tuft on the top, though.
Yeah, I mean, it's taken 2 years to get this far.
He's halfway there.
It's coming, isn't it? We just need the back now, don't we? You're tired, aren't you?
He's
yeah.
Your hair out.
Yeah.
Sorry, Hansel. I do apologise. We're nearly finished. So what do we think? I just want to ask you, we'll go Ian first. What do you think of this kind of merchandising? And you were in this kind of industry and how they presented this tweet. What did it remind you of? You see it?
A bit.
Full screen.
It looks like a kind of an old Happy Mondays video to an extent.
I mean, I think you made that cooler than it actually is. I actually think it looks like a Thomas Cook holiday brochure.
Maybe. There's something Happy Mondays about it.
Maybe
that's the hat and the I'm cool half Spider-Man pose. But I totally see Thomas Cook on that. It's like before they've put like the backdrop in, you know, with the beach.
There's a bit of a close up. What do we think of this kit? There's a lot going on. It does look quite tie-dye, actually, doesn't it?
I mean, I don't dislike the colours, but again, it's just like, I mean, the patterns just seem a little bit over the top. Like, it's for the sake of it. Let's just make a pattern that's not really a nice pattern. You know, no one's going to look at that and go, "Oh yeah, that's a lovely pattern."
But what they're doing is they're designing. They're designing kits, not how they're going to be looking on the pitch, but how they're going to be worn with jeans. That's it, isn't it?
Why is
How
this
will
guy
not
wearing
stop
shorts?
jeans and that's the decision.
I think he's
Okay,
just wearing
right.
shorts to show you that they don't go with shorts. So, yeah, don't do this.
To prove Ian's point. Okay,
Yeah.
last one, and I'm going to really apologise about this one, guys.
Oh, it's a great kit, that.
This one is the worst.
It's not. It's fine.
I mean,
Oh,
to
yeah.
me,
Shocking.
this reminds me of someone who works with in one of those like water parks where they have like whales and sea lives and stuff. It's almost like a kind
It
of
does
a
look like a
wetsuit.
wetsuit, doesn't it?
It does. It's terrible, isn't it? It's
It does look
horrible.
like
I mean,
a wetsuit. It's like two kits that have been fastened together.
Controversially, I hate Tottenham probably more than anyone. But I think in terms of graphic design, which is a big part of what I do generally, that does have the best design for me. I like the layout of the logo. I hate the logo, but the layout of the logos with that sponsor. I'm not sure about the shirt, like the sleeves. I think that's a little bit weird. They look a little bit shoulder paddy.
Yeah, I
But
think they're called raglan sleeves.
Yeah, controversially, the main front of the shirt is probably, I think, the best design. But I'm into classic bold colours, you know what I mean? Like block colours, like the patterns, as I say, they have to be something special. And it's very rare that anyone other than Adidas does good patterns.
That's nice.
Wow. Well, I didn't think I'd be hearing that tonight.
No, I didn't think I'd be saying it, but you've not given me much choice. You've not put one of the lovely Adidas Arsenal kits in for me to go, oh, yeah, that smashes all the others.
The
You know?
whole point was to put on ones that were really horrible. But
Yeah.
Ian, what did you think of that one?
Thought it looked like two kits fastened together, but I see the neoprene wetsuit image. But it also looked like it was a training bib on top of a black shirt.
It does look a lot more like a training shirt, doesn't it, than like an actual kit. And it's
Hang
weird the way it's lit.
on. 1 second. Was it Steve? What do you think of that? Oh, no, it's good. Oh, nice one, mate. Cheers. All right, good. Steve says it's good.
Yeah.
I heard Steve said it was precious.
Yeah, that was Gargano night.
Okay, guys. Well, that's the end of the Mullet Show. If you've watched this long, well done. Please like and subscribe. We're going to clip some of this up and put it on social media. Also, if you subscribe to FTB Sports, we will be back next week with either a 6 of 1 or Mullet Show, and Tom should be back on the show. I do apologise if you have a blazer with 4 stripes. That was just, it's just something that went somewhere and it was good. I still don't know really what a fascist is. Thank you very much, Ian, for coming on.
You're welcome.
You have a lovely evening. Adam, thank you very much for coming on.
Thanks for having me, mate. Lovely to see you both.
And yes, we will be back very soon. So thank you. Good night. This has been the Mullet Show on FTV Sports.
England!